Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us here tonight at the 18th annual Filmed by Bike Film Festival. We are launching our pre-festival events all week long and last week as well. An opportunity for us to interview our filmmakers from all over the world, as well as host some interesting conversations. Now, the 18th annual Filmed by Bike is a film festival that features the world's best bike movies. Typically, we're at the beautiful, historic Hollywood Theater here in Portland, Oregon every May. Obviously, that's not happening this year, so we thought it would be fun to bring on a series of live stream interviews leading up to our virtual film festival, which kicks off this Friday. We've got a whole slew of interviews in the playlist for the 18th annual Filmed by Bike here on YouTube that you can watch to learn more from our filmmakers around the world, as well as some other great folks that we've interviewed through the process. Now, last night we talked about bike packing. Tomorrow night is our happy hour to kick off the show. And we've got a great interview tonight with Melih Aslan calling in to talk about his film Cyclist. Now, before we get to that, I want to let you know that tickets are still on sale for the festival. You can buy tickets to tune in and interact live or watch later at any time on your own schedule. Tickets and information are at filmedbybike.org, where you can find out more about the 3 days, 6 programs, and nearly 70 films that we're going to be showing in this year's film festival. We also have a very exciting workshop that we'll be hosting along with Courtney Williams of the Brown Bike Girl Consulting. That's going to be happening on Saturday of the festival. This is the first time we've ever offered a workshop, so we're really excited about this. This is a workshop geared towards Black, Indigenous, and people of color who are emerging filmmakers, excited to learn more about filmmaking. It's going to be a real filmmaker 101. Though we are a bicycle-focused film festival, this workshop just covers filmmaking and video working in general. And that's going to be really easy to tune into because it's going to be an Instagram live. So you can find out more information about that and the rest of the festival at filmedbybike.org. So without further ado, I want to invite in our guest here, Melih Aslan. So nice to have you here with us this evening. What time is it where you are?
It's 4:32 now.
In the morning.
Yeah, in the morning.
Well, I thank you for joining us and being willing to get up and
Thanks
join
for
us for this
having me,
interview.
Ali.
Yeah. So Melih's film is Cyclist. This is going to be playing, let's see, this is playing in our Friday night program, Friday A, which is at 7 p.m. on Friday. This is the program that kicks off the entire festival, and we're very excited to be able to include this film in that program. Typically, Film by Bike's known for extremely short films. For us, that means 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes. We've just known for those kind of very short films. This is a little bit of a longer film in our terms, and we wouldn't usually slot a film like this into our Crazy Friday program, but this film just really hits the mark, and we're very excited to share it with our big audience on Friday. I know our audience is just going to love this film, and we're really excited to share the story. So I wanted to hear a little bit from you about this movie and kind of what are people in for when they come to watch this film. What is it about?
Actually, this is a film about a cyclist who try to find his way from one of the ghettos in Capetown, which is like different spaces which built during the apartheid era in South Africa. Those like spaces were built by apartheid regime to keep black and colored people in segregated areas, and they just create only one or two public transportation for them to reach the city center to work for themselves, for apartheid again. So when I moved to Cape Town, I started to join some cyclist group, and one of them just explained me how they work in one of those areas to empower some young children, and I found this interesting to just reach one of those areas because they always told me that it is really hard for a white person or whitish person to reach one of those areas. And it is really also not safe to go those areas by yourself. And I just wanted to see one of those places, and that NGO helped me to reach there. And it was also really different experience to just walk around with your really like I don't really big camera when you see all those young people just staring at you, and I'm really glad that I'll be intact when I finished all those movies because everyone was just staring at me, and it was really crazy to just walk around all those places.
So tell us a little bit about your journey and how you wound up in Cape Town. What were you doing prior to moving to South Africa?
Uh, I was and I'm still doing like video journalism, and I started my career as a like foreign news reporter in a national newspaper. Then I just moved to Reuters news agency as a field producer, and from 2015 till end of 2017, I worked as a like field producer. But that era was really violent in Turkey's history because of the political agenda, and especially during 2016, we like experienced blast in every 2 weeks or like suicide attacks, especially when the ISIS was really active. And that area was really tiring for me. So after a while, I just decided to take a break and do whatever I want and just focus on investigative work of video, which is like documentary for me. And I applied the Cape Town University and they accepted me. So I went there for a year, and during that time I just like people really helped me to settle down there, and also they helped me to find some jobs. So it was really smooth path for me to just do some projects in Cape Town, and this was actually my final project for university, but university was just an excuse to go there. Actually, it was just an excuse to just like apply visa and stay there and work there. So I'm really glad that school and its studio helped me to just accomplish my vision, and also they helped me to just I found a driver for it to shoot movie actually, thanks to school, and also they just gave me all those equipments to shoot that movie. So when I returned back to Turkey in 2019, I started to build a team for the post production because I'm really used to work alone, and this movie just proved me that your like team is the most important thing, not money or not time. If you're a really great team who just understand your dream about your movie, and that's really important actually because uh, for example, those like I have a couple of animation in my movies, and we did it here in Turkey, and I didn't have to explain to my friends all details. I just told him what I wanted to see on the picture, and he did it. Also, colorist. We did that color in my movie in three revision actually. Like I told him, uh, I told him a movie. which is like the enemy. It's the film from Denis Villeneuve, and I told him that I want to see colors like that movie, and my friend told me like you don't have to say anything more. So he did it like in a month, and that process like it was like 8 months. We spent like 8 months for post production, and I like shot this movie in 3 months. Like I followed my protagonist Awile for 3 months, doing his team like teamwork till last race, and I'm happy with it. It's my first movie actually, and I like prove myself that I can do something else uh, besides just reporting, and it's really great to see on the market, and but I'm really sad because I get selection from England, like a couple of European cities, and from 2 festivals in United States. And first movies are generally great to make connections for the next movies, for like searching funds for next movies. But it is also really lovely to just get some reactions from audience. Now I'm really like I will really like to thank you again to have me for your festival, because when I started to just apply to those festivals, uh, I just didn't realize you because you were faster than me to find my movie actually.
We have our films manager is on it. She finds great films. That's great to hear that we found you before you had a chance to apply.
Yeah, that was great, and yeah, thanks for that. And this is a really short story of my movie
Oh, that's
and me.
wonderful. Yeah. So, why did you choose to go to Cape Town? Was it because you were applying to different universities, or were you particularly interested in going to South Africa?
Actually, I went to East Africa in Kenya during my studies in university to work as a volunteer, and I'm kind of in love with like sub-Saharan Africa, especially Eastern Africa and South Africa, and I really love people over there. And so I when I went to Cape Town like a year before, I was really like fall in love with the city. I'm living in Istanbul, and Istanbul is a great city, and I wouldn't think that I could love another city to live in. So when I went there, I decided that I will come here again and to live at least for a year. So when I decided to just take a break from my work, that was my like that was my only thinking, my only destination. So I only applied for Cape Town actually to go there, and I don't know if they wouldn't accept me. So yeah, I have a different relations with the continent and all those other cities, and I have a lot of friends. So it wasn't like from starting scratch. I have really lots of journalist friends over there, and a couple of friends who just accepted me for staying for a couple of weeks until I find a place. So it was really easy and a smooth like transition for me.
That's great. So we're talking to Melih Aslan. His film Cyclist is playing at the 18th annual Film by Bike Film Festival. That is going to be in our program that airs on Friday at 7 p.m. And I thought we would launch into a nice little overview of the film, give you just a quick glimpse at the project. But I also want to let you know that we have the chat window available. So if you have questions for Melih, you can ask them there in the chat window and we'll pass them along to him. And so before we get to all that, I want to give you a little clip of the film here. We're going to switch over to a brief overview.
Yeah. So it's a great feeling, like riding and seeing a beautiful view. It gives you, it's meditating, and it gives you like, if you are tired, it gives you like sort of energy. I'm the strongest guy in my team, so I usually like have to work or sit at the back all the time because the guys cannot keep up with my pace. Then when I'm in the race, so it gets more fun, it gets more interesting there, cause like I had to push hard. These guys are stronger than me, so I have to keep up with them. So it's that enthusiasm that makes me like a race, cause I always wanna like. So I mean, I'm just person in cycling, so I like challenges. Yeah. So in my team, there are no challenges cause I'm just cruising.
So I love looking at this. I had a hard time choosing which clip we were going to show tonight, to be honest, because there are so many great moments in this film. But you were mentioning earlier, Melih, about the coloring that you spent so much time getting right, and I just think that the color in the film is so beautiful, and there's just this beautiful warm tone to it. And what really drew you to want to bring that tone to this film?
Uh, that area, which I call like Kayalicha, is a really dusty area because when you see Cape Town is a great city with that incredibly green landscape. Because wherever you are in the city center, you can reach a hiking rotation in 5 minutes. But in contrast, when you go those like ghetto areas, they're all like dusty. You can't see any tree. Like you only see those like shelters, like metal shelters, or a couple of like small houses, but not even one tree, which is really sad because this city is so much potential, and you see the like heritage of the apartheid era. So I would like to combine this with the dusty nature of the bicycle, because riding a bicycle is not the cleanest sport ever. So when you ride this like bike, you need to be filthy. You when you ride a road bike, as like I'm not used to ride in a mountain bike, but when you ride in a road bike, you feel all the dirt came from the city, like those all the gas and the filthy air came from those like vehicles, other vehicles. But when you reach some destinations, like in my movie, you see in the drone footage especially, uh, you you reach a heaven. So I would just show that contrast in my movie. So that's why I use that tone actually.
I think that's really lovely. And I know this film, we haven't talked a lot about it, but we have a great article about you and your history on our website and our filmmaker profiles. We haven't talked a lot about it yet, but I'm curious to know more about why you wanted to tell the story. I know this story really tells the struggles of that region through the eyes of a cyclist. Tell us more about why you wanted to make this film and why you wanted to tell this story.
I like I said, I want to be part of the ghetto life. So when I started to find the protagonist, I realized that my raceless blueprint that I bought in Capetown when I moved there, that bicycle is a tool to access and tool to find a raceless spot to create that conversation. And I realized that bike is a great tool to explain this story, this like race issue in a different way, because I have no connection with the apartheid era or this sad story in South Africa. However, this is a huge discussion in South Africa, because when you are not the subject of a violence of a race, it is not great to explain that story. It is not, most of the people doesn't see that it is politically correct, because it is their story to tell to other people. It is still a huge discussion, because if you're a white person, you cannot explain a black story, and they will discuss it really well. But I'm not explaining a racial story here. I'm explaining a cyclist story, and that's what I'm a part of it. I know how to ride. I ride bicycle since my I don't know. I can't remember when I started cycling, actually. So it is a great tool for me to show those contrasts. And I put I put a couple of different dinner settings, like eating settings in my movie, in every different, 3 episodes. And this show how Awile's life differs in those 3 different tables. So it is also I want to show how those eating sessions mix with cycling in his life, actually.
I love those eating sessions, especially the one where you're in the living room with the family, because there's such intimacy there. You're sharing food together and you're with the family and they're sharing their thoughts, and you're being invited into the home, which all of that, sharing a meal and being invited into the home, that's just universal language for opening up with each other. And I love that scene especially really resonated with me. I almost used that as our clip to watch tonight. I had a hard time deciding. Esji is wondering in the chat window if anything about this story resonates with your personal story.
Actually, that resonates my life in kind of South Africa. So because I'm not a citizen of South Africa, but South Africa is like a really mixed places. In Turkey, we are still discussing racial issues, and in a really sad way, in really passive way, and people still don't believe there is a racial issue in Turkey. But South Africa is kind of past all those issues. They are still struggling on economic issues, but they already can talk about what is wrong and what have done in the past. So that's how I just started to show. That's how I wanted to start to show that story actually. So they are already past some of the issues, but they have still too much to go. So I would love to show that when you start a journey with your bike, uh, generally like you don't focus what will come at the end. You generally focus what's on the road. You don't think anything else. So that's keep your mind busy. So that's how I want to show about Awile. Awile may not be a great cyclist at the end, or may not be a like champion, but he achieved something about his life, and he just showed us there is another path to find, or there is another path to create other than his life in ghetto. And that's how I resonate. That's how I just uh, feel that we are in common with him.
Well, I know it's evident from watching the film that it was quite a journey to film it and to get to know Awile along the way. I'm wondering what surprised you most during the filming and the production of this project.
Uh, when I started this project, I didn't know anything about Awile's past and how he lost his father. And I'm really I was in really small in budget, so I couldn't find a chance to find a translator from Kosa to English, and I didn't know that his family couldn't speak in English. So when we started to talk with his family uh, during that dinner, during that eating session, I was only shooting, and my like driver as well as translator, I told her a couple of questions to ask them, but I also asked her to just speak casually with them. So when this conversation ended and we just finished those all shooting, she came to me and told me that those stories, and I didn't know
Wow.
what happened during that conversation, but they told me how they lost their father, and they told me how it was violent. So actually that was my only criticism to myself, because if I could spend much more money in like translator, I could have done much like fluent conversation during that session. But I don't have a like really proper Kosa translator, so during editing it was really hard for me to edit and to cut specific places. So yeah, it was the challenge for me.
Yeah, it really sounds like it. Well, I think it's such a beautiful film. It's impressive to know that this is your early work. I can't wait to see what comes next. Do you have any other films in the works?
Like I said, because of this pandemic, I couldn't find a chance to go festivals and introduce myself and asking money from people. But I'm working on a couple like fictional movie, and I'm working on a script. So if we can get a chance to survive from this crazy era, I would like to just focus on that. But for now, I'm still continue on video journalism, and I'm still doing some investigative video works for YouTube, and that's all for now.
And are you and Awila still in touch?
Yeah, we are still in touch. We are following each other from Instagram, and he's still great, but he's sad about like not riding as much as before pandemic. But he's surviving. He's a survivor.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I can't wait for us to show this film at the festival this year. We have been working on the festival for a year now, since we would usually have been in May. I feel like I've seen your film so many times, and it's beautiful every time that I see it. And I just can't wait for this weekend to come when we finally get to reveal all these great films that we've been talking about for so long now, and especially your film as well. As we go into the festival weekend, is there anything that you want our viewers to know about Awile, about his story, or about things you want them to be thinking about as they experience your beautiful work?
Uh, I like I don't have anything to say about it, but I would like to have some feedback uh, after watching movie, and it will be really lovely to hear something. I'm really open for anything, and it is like I said, it is my first movie, and uh, any like criticism would be like a pillar for my next movie. So
Oh, that's great to hear. Well, we do have a link down below in the show notes. We've got a link to Melih on Instagram, so you can stay in touch with him there. And again, his film is showing, Cyclist is showing Friday at 7 p.m. That's our opening night program, the first program of Film by Bike. Melih, it's so great for you to join us tonight. Thank you so much. It's early morning in Turkey, so I really appreciate you joining us. If you want to know more about Melih, you can find out more on our website as well. We have a great filmmaker profile that tells you a little bit more about the film and Melih's story. Thank you so much for joining us here. It's been great
thanks for
speaking
having
with you
me.
this evening. So, folks, the 18th annual Film by Bike is coming up this weekend. We're kicking things off tomorrow with a happy hour, a fun, casual opportunity to get a glimpse at the festival, as well as an opportunity to hear from our jury members, past and present, about all the films that they wade through in order to determine the world's best bike movies and bring films like Cyclist to the big screen. The big screen being whatever your screen might be this year. We've got all that information on our website at filmedbybike.org, and our festival passes are the best way to go in order to tune into everything throughout the weekend. And those festival passes are still currently on sale at a discounted rate. So I recommend you head over to filmedbybike.org to pick up your festival pass. Share this video with all your friends. This link is available into the future. And be sure to subscribe to our channel down below if you like what we're doing, so that you can get a notification the next time that we are live. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we can't wait to see you this weekend at the festival.